Exactly what is so wrong with informing people rather than just censoring? I'm going to start things off by making two things perfectly clear. The first thing is I'm going to be talking about things that technically YouTube frowns upon. So I'm going to have to dance around phrasing. I'm going to dance around subjects and words in order to make this YouTube friendly. That's just, you got to play by their rules. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. The second thing is that nothing in this video has really anything to do with a certain series of events before, during, and after World War II. And I just want to make that clear. I'm not discrediting anything or anything of that. The whole point is that this has nothing to do with that. Well, it technically does, but not the matter that I'm actually hitting on. But yeah, just want to get those two things clear. So let's just jump right into it. So for those unaware, in the recent episode of Tokyo Revengers, episode 5, there was a great deal of censorship that happened. And I am here to really kind of, I guess, shine a light on a very troubling matter that we are facing in the world of anime and just censorship in general that really needs to be addressed at this point, because it's no longer, I mean, people are familiar with censorship. I mean, we have censorship of violence. Obviously somebody, being decapitated is not really something that you'd want to see on television. So even in Japan with anime, they would censor the actual television broadcast. We would most likely get that version in the streaming version of it. And then later on, when a Blu-ray releases, people are able to, buy at their own will, watch the show completely uncensored. That's a thing. We've had nudity, which again is something that is not really, allowed on television, or at least primetime television. It is allowed on like late night television in Japan. But typically, this is also used as a marketing thing where they'll censor the TV broadcast or the stream that we get, and then, buy the Blu-ray if you want the uncensored version, unless it's through Funimation, and they'll censor it anyways. That's another topic all in itself. But then there's also the censorship of content itself, phrases, things that are just not socially acceptable in other regions that are acceptable in Japan. This is where we get into a really tough area, honestly. This is an area where you are starting to manipulate the original creator's intent and change the way things are actually happening based on what social norms are allowed. And that's an area for me, whereas the other two I can kind of understand. This is where I get into an area that actually frustrates me, because it, again, alters the artist's intent in some way, shape, or form. It alters their story. It alters the meaning. And there's no greater example right now than Tokyo Revengers. And this is where I get really frustrated. And I want to make it perfectly clear that based on what I am seeing, this has nothing to do with Crunchyroll. And it is sad, because I'm seeing people, even though they acknowledge it in their videos or they acknowledge it in their podcasts, they're still blaming Crunchyroll. And that frustrates me, because nothing indicates that it's their fault. The entire West, outside of Japan, has gotten the same version of Tokyo Revengers Episode 5, and they were all edited. They felt, as creators, this is something acceptable that they can do there, but will not be acceptable anywhere else. So I'm making that perfectly clear. So let's get into this. What happened? What exactly happened? So, as I was watching episode 5, and this is a kind of an ongoing thing, and I'll kind of bring you through the thread of my thinking process that eventually got me to a point of absolute frustration and anger. So essentially, episode 5 airs, and it seems to me, as I'm watching the episode, that this show is having production issues. It has a lot of cut frames, it has a lot of zoom-ins, it has a lot of unnatural feeling scenes. There's sound effects happening, which is a character still on the screen. So either somebody dropped the ball in production, or something's happening. So after I finished the episode, I'm like, okay, let me look what people are saying, see if anybody else acknowledges. Maybe it's a glitch in my stream. And sure enough, a lot of people are saying, man, that was heavily censored. And I'm thinking to myself, well, what's censored? Let me be clear, I have not seen anything on the manga at all, so I don't know really any kind of idea of what to expect. Well, a lot of people are saying it's censored. Okay, I look into what was censored. And a lot of people are saying A certain symbol that is often referred to or is often connected to a certain group in World War II. Let's just say that. A certain little emblem that was, I'm sorry, I went the wrong direction, related to World War II. And this is what kind of struck me as odd, because I'm like, okay, that makes sense why that wouldn't be included. I end up running into a tweet that says, yes, the production team believed that this was something that would not be acceptable in the West. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But then I started thinking about it. Wait, the Manji gang. Manji. And this is where I get into that area of like informing people rather than censorship. For those who don't know, the Manji symbol is a religious symbol. This symbol that looks, yes, that was adopted by and perverted by a certain group in World War II was a religious symbol, and it still is. It's a Buddhist symbol. It's a symbol that is used in a lot of Eurasia type of religious beliefs. And specifically the Tokyo Manji gang uses this symbol. And so they felt that this symbol would be connected to that, and thus they need to censor it. And this is where I get really agitated, because yes, it's one of those things where they go, oh, well, the West is going to freak out. And this is sad because it's our fault as well. The West's fault as well. Is because there would probably be plenty of people that would see that symbol and go, oh my gosh, this is white soups, you know? This is a culture of the people of World War II. And it's not. And that's the difficulty that I'm running into, is that let's just assume, and I feel pretty confident in assuming this, that a majority of people don't know what a Manji symbol is. But I would say that majority of people know what the other symbol is from World War II. And so when they see, oh, this was censored. Why was it censored? Oh, that symbol? Whoa. Yeah, I totally understand. And now, what does this create? And this is the problem with this censorship in general, and this is why this is a huge problem. By not informing people what happened, you are now making the show about a bunch of people that are essentially running around with this symbol and assuming that it has something to do with World War II. And that's where the problem lies. So my thought process is like, why could we not have... I mean, how many times have you watched a show where it opens up with a blank screen and text on it that says, either, people in this cult, references to people that may be related to real life people is purely coincidental, or, the content that you see in this episode may be too shocking for some viewers. Why could we not have a black screen that has, I don't know, some religious people or some Buddhist references, the sign, and informing people that this is a Manji sign, this is something to do with spirituality, this is something to do with wellness, this is nothing to do with the folks of WW2. And that way, and then you can also put in there in the bottom, if this still bothers you, you may want to avoid watching this episode. But at least what happens is now people are now informed of where this came from and why they have it on their jackets. Instead, what do you have right now? You have some people that are upset because they're essentially censoring something that shouldn't be censored. You have a group of people that I would assume are going to assume that they're going to assume that this is about a bunch of people that are wearing WW2 signs on themselves, believing that they're tryhards and they may be again white soups. That's the issue. Right there is where I have a huge problem. Is that group of people that are now going to believe this show is following a bunch of white soups. And, World War II sympathizers, basically. And not what they actually are. Now, that's not to say this gang is good people. It's not to say that having gangs is a good thing. There's a lot of people murdered by gangs. This is not saying that these are good people. It's just saying that you're changing their story significantly due to censorship. And that's where the problem lies. And that's where I have my biggest issue, is that you have misinformation caused by censorship that now changes the story. And it changes the original creator's intent. And again, like I said at the very beginning, that's where I hate it. That's where censorship agitates me, is when it changes the original creator's intent. And it's exactly what's happening by perverting the Manji symbol, which exactly is what the folks at World War II did. They perverted the symbol. And this is a symbol they're trying to reclaim. This is a symbol that has significance in the past. It has been around for a long time, long before the folks of WW2. And they're trying to reclaim it. And by censoring this, it's re-agitating that. It's throwing that in the bucket. This person perverted it, and now it's lost, and you can't have it anymore. And that's what sucks. It's not to say that that was a good thing that happened in that period of time. It's to say that this is a symbol that has more meaning than just what they perverted it into. And that's what sucks. And this is a thing that has been going on for a long time through anime. It's been in other things as well. It's not just an anime thing. But this is the medium that we love. This is the medium that we want to retain. This is the medium we don't want to be perverted. We don't want to be destroyed. We don't want to be censored. And we love the original creators. We love the stories they create. And this is absolutely disrespectful to that. It's disrespectful to the symbol itself. It's disrespectful to the viewers themselves. It's disrespectful to the people that pay to watch this stuff. There's no winner here. Again, inform rather than censor. It's that easy. And again, I'm not blaming Crunchyroll. And it's sad that I don't even blame the studio, whoever made the decision to send this over to the West. Because again, I know their mentality is, if we send this over as it is now, it's going to be a crap storm on Twitter. Because people are going to eat it up and complain. And that's what we do over here. And that's why they do it. And that's what sucks so much. Is that and this scares me for the future, because we're going to get more episodes of huge fights that are going to have people with these jackets on. And the moment that I watch an episode where you have a huge gang fight and there is light bars everywhere, I'm shutting it off. I ain't going to watch it. Because again, it's destroying this story. It's destroying the betrayal. It's destroying the hard work of the animators that want to do something incredible, and we're ruining it. But I need to stop at this point. I can go on and on. Censorship has no winner. And people that complain about things uncensored, we have no winners there either. There is no winners anywhere. The winner is informing people. The winner is telling people what a Manji symbol is. Why can't we just explain what a Manji symbol is? It's that simple. And if somebody still wants to complain, tell them to shut up. That's that simple. Okay, anyways, that's my thoughts on this whole situation with episode 5 of Tokyo Revengers. This sucks. It absolutely sucks. And I hope something changes really quickly. I hope somebody that has some kind of guts to tell somebody to stop this watches this video. I hope you guys share this video. I hope you guys spread the word that this isn't us in the West. We can handle this. We're smart people. We can learn. Teach us. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like down below. Comment. Let me know what you think of this whole situation. As always, subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you all enjoyed. And y'all take care.